All right, it says we're live. It says we're here. Let's get this thing going. We ain't got a lot of time. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Nobody knows. Come on in, say hi, let me know where you are, right into the comment section. I apologize for showing up in my undershirt. I had a lot to do. Was working, feeding all the animals, getting a lot of work done, trying to get caught up. As soon as I went in to gather the eggs for the day, I found a 6-foot rat snake in there, coiled up in the nest. I put a video of it on Facebook, eating the eggs. I don't know how many he ate, but it probably was a lot. And Daniel just asked, did you kill the snake? Get the egg back. You don't get the egg back. I did stop him from the one he had in his mouth. Yes, I did get that one. But I couldn't get to his head, so I had to grab him by the body, and I just slung him out the door, and then he got away. So he'll probably be back in there. I'll catch him next time. I don't kill him. That's not a good idea because they do a lot of good stuff. You just get him away from the chicken house. Most likely bring him down to the office, let him loose down here so I don't get rats. But it was an apropos metaphor for what's going on in the world. Other than the fact that the snake is actually a valuable creature. Stealing and destroying it was doing, but that's its nature. But I would like it to do its nature somewhere else. So hope everybody's doing all right. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I'm a little bit, I got to watch my words. I'm a little bit put out, a little bit peeved. Trying to think of some terms I can use that are family friendly. Hope you guys can hear me. Somebody, if you're out there, let me know if you can hear this, if the volume and the video is working. I got a little fan blowing on me. It's 95 degrees and 30% humidity. I made it down here in time to do this. Didn't know if I was going to have enough power, but we might get through this. This light may not make it. But I'll wait around. Somebody could type into the comment section something. Let me know I'm not here by myself. Otherwise, I got stuff to go do. We'll see. I'm not seeing anything yet. You guys say hi. Hit the like button. Hitting the like button is a valuable assistance that you can lend the program to allow more people to see it. Perturbed. Peeved. That's right. Sound is okay. All right. I'm a little irritated. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Daniel. You guys type in where you are. Let's find out where everybody's at. Hit the like button. I don't know. I really don't know what to do. I don't know. Let me tell you, I have a firm desire for peace in my life, to not. Hey, Arkansas, good to see you. Good to see you, Montana. Michigan's here. Ohio's here. I've been fighting this battle with what's going on in this world today for over 20 years. Put a post on Facebook the other day because it irritates me how many people think that masks are the thing that we're supposed to be fighting about. How many people think that they are some type of William Wallace because they're willing to not wear a mask into skillets. And it seems that's all I see on my wall is a bunch of people arguing about masks. Meanwhile, a pedophile ring reaching to the very top of government in every party, Hollywood, the media, the billionaires, the bankers. This is not a conspiracy theory, folks. People are getting murdered openly. Even people in custody like Epstein. You have perverts as your princes running the country, running both parties, pedophiles, and you still think a mask is something you should be arguing about because you're some kind of man, you're some kind of hero based on your position on whether or not you should wear a mask. Now, I've made my position known. I don't believe government has the authority, especially the governor of Texas, to mandate mask wearing in public. But if a private business wants to order it, that's their business. I'm not a libertarian. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. But I'm a firm believer in private property and the right for owners to do whatever they want that is legal and not harming or aggressing anybody else, even if it's stupid. However, the idea that somehow the wearing of a mask is more important than the fact that it is obvious and absolutely open to everybody that a huge pedophile ring is running the country. That there's information out there where people at the highest levels of government in the economic system, social, news, everything else, are actually child rapists. And people are like, hey, don't worry about it. After November 4th, all this is going to go away. After the election day, everything's going to... Really? There's only two ways having a pedophile ring run your country goes away. The pedophiles win, which means it just disappears. Nobody gets outed. The leaders of both political parties and the bankers and the Hollywood people and whoever else is involved don't get arrested, don't go to jail, and continue doing what they're doing. That's one way that this ends. And the other way is they all get exposed, and there's a massive cleaning of the house. So how does it just go away? On the other hand, you have communists and Marxists openly declaring who they are, flying the flags of Marxism, the most murderous ideology that's existed on the earth, at least in the last 100 years, responsible for more genocide than all the other ideologies put together. But if you want to couple that with Nazism and statism and totalitarianism all together, I'm fine with that. But here's the difference. Here's the thing I wanted to point out. And I made a pretty open show of this in the last 24 hours. Anybody who doesn't think that I'm an anti-Marxist or an anti-statist knows absolutely nothing about me. At the same time, I have openly and publicly declared that I'm against the federal government having secret police force pull up in unmarked vehicles and kidnapping people off the street. I have no problem with criminals getting their just desserts while they're committing crimes. I would prefer, if I had a way of choosing it, that since the Constitution allows for people to protect their lives and property and safety, that's the way this was handled. I would prefer that rioters and looters were stopped in their tracks by the people that own the property that's being destroyed. Absent that, because people might have been restricted from their constitutional right to defend themselves, it's a local issue. And unhappy to say it, if you live in a city, you signed off on this. You signed off on it, and that's just the way it goes. So I'm not for the federal government police forces. And I've been open about that. Now, here's the difference between me and the clowns in my comment section and the liars who pop their heads up just because they are Marxist and they're trying to defend it. The difference is I'm not a liar. You know what my position is. Though I want to see looters and rioters and people who are depriving people of their life, liberty, and property dealt with constitutionally, when I see something that's going wrong with that dealing with, I point it out. I don't lie about it and act like it's not happening. I don't defend it. I don't say, yeah, but, you got to protect federal property. Yeah, but, I don't do that. Now, you got people burning down properties, destroying things, who call themselves Marxist. In their foundational documents, in the flags that they're flying, and the words coming out of their mouth. And I have no problem with somebody in my comment section who may be a Marxist, who wants to honestly and fairly, as an adult, engage in a conversation about it. But don't use Jesuitical tricks to lie and act like it's not happening, that people aren't seeing this gaslighting of America, where you see somebody flying a Soviet Union flag and they're beating people and they're burning things down and they're stealing things and they're firebombing buildings and they're shooting people with trying to shoot people with AK-47s, and they're doing all this violence. And you got people in my comment section going, oh, those aren't Marxists. See, Marxism, Google's Wikipedia, Google's whatever. Well, Marxism is the way the society is organized. Marxism is They're calling themselves that, you moron. You're just lying. And then sitting there saying that these are actually right-wing death squads or fascists who are doing this, while the people who are doing it are telling you who they are. People who are doing this are telling you who they are. Not the words Black Lives Matter, but the organization has pronounced who they are. They want to do away with the nuclear family. They want to do away with fathers. They want to do away with the economic system that has provided more benefits for more people in the history of the world other than God himself. And sit there and see some people flying communist flags, doing interviews saying they're communists, having meetings declaring themselves to be communists, promoting communist legislation, utilizing communist local officials to get what they want, and to sit there and go, those are not communists. Those are capitalist right-wingers. Why can't you just be, if I'm going to be honest, I tell you where I'm coming from, and I tell you exactly what I think about people that are doing things wrongly. Don't come on my wall and be a liar. And the one guy, Chad, in particular, already invented his own religion, so he obviously has a problem reading. He certainly can't read the Bible and get neither Marxism and socialism, and he certainly can't get everything else he's gotten out of it that he's chatted at me about. He just made up his own. And then sits there in my comment section and lies about what's going on in front of everybody's faces. Now, here's my point. I've been doing this a very long time, and not some keyboard hero typing it in from my sofa. No. Starting in 1987, I started preaching in the churches. I started traveling around the country. I was speaking to 300 and 400 people a night, all over the country, all over the world. I stood up in front of 400 people and started talking about NSA spying 12 years before Snowden. I had people contact my father and threaten me that I need to shut up. I've had other things like that happen. I've had people meet me at restaurants and things like that while I'm on the road and advise me that I need to stop doing what I'm doing. I spoke in a traditionally black university in Atlanta and told the truth about what I felt was the problem with the militarization of the police and what was going on with spying, with all of these other things. I spoke to a predominantly racist group of white racists and my hosts were a interracial couple, and told them what I thought about their ideology at Stone Mountain in Georgia. I spoke in Kuski, Idaho. I was in Australia for 8 weeks, traveling up and down the western coast of Australia. Most of those people had never heard some of the things that I was talking about. I've been doing this for 20 years. I had the sheriff show up at the end of my driveway on 9/11 because somehow telling people the truth is dangerous. I had them come knock on my door because they wanted to make sure that we weren't making bombs and stuff, even though I'm avidly and openly nonviolent. I'm not a pacifist, but I'm nonviolent. I believe people have the right to defend themselves. They have the right to defend their property and their liberty. That's the way that we sort this out. Short of that, I sit there for days on end and go, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get on here anymore. I don't want to sit here at 95 degrees with 30% humidity, barely enough power to make anything run, not even enough money to get my car fixed, and to keep doing this. So I'm just telling you, I'm a little bit peeved because I keep getting thrust back into this kind of stuff that I don't want to do. I've been doing it for a long time. I've been preaching from pulpits where I did not get invited back because I told them things about what was going on in the country and what was going on with the false gospel of prosperity and free will theism that had strangled Americans. Meanwhile, they're sitting there preaching messages on how to have a good day, how to get what you want from God just by demanding it. And we got a bunch of covetards marching in the streets, burning things down, beating people. And you got a government run by two political parties that are also operating at the behest of pedophiles who are child rapists. But guess what? The most important thing to argue about on Facebook is whether or not you're wearing a mask. So here's the problem. I've said before, you can't unclimb this rope. When you have people who are watching Marxists in the streets, destroying things, lying about what happened, blocking cars so they can pull the drivers out to beat them, and you got people who will sit there and look you in the eye and say, that's not happening. You got a media that is so in bed with the covetards and the violence pimps and the pedophiles. I wish I could pull it up. I did an interview in 2014 with a major internet magazine who did an interview about my lifestyle and all this kind of stuff. Because of that, I'm on their email list. They sent out an email today. Let me see if I can pull it up. I would love to read this to you if I can find it. Here we go. The headline. Let me read this to you. Police declare riots as more protest federal tactics. I'm going to see if you guys have the capacity, if you're not so fragmented.
Police declare riots as more.
Sorry about that. I want to see if you have the ability to discern the Jesuitical casuistry and double talk that's going on in this short blurb. Thousands of people in cities across the U.S. took to the streets over the weekend to protest violent tactics used by federal agents against protesters in Portland, Oregon. Do you sense there's a circular argument? They're protesting tactics used against protesters. Which came first? Aussie Magazine? Which came first? Are they protesting? Are they protesting the response to the protests? Let's read this on. In Seattle, police declared a Black Lives Matter protest to be a riot and pepper sprayed 2,000 people. Not that it was a riot that was getting out of hand and they were trying to disperse the riot using non-lethal force, but they just randomly sprayed 2,000 people for no reason and then declared it a riot. It gets better. In Austin, a motorist shot protester Garrett Foster dead while he was pushing his wife's wheelchair. Is that what happened? Have any of y'all looked into that? This guy got shot dead while he was just pushing his whoever in a wheelchair. He didn't have an AK-47. He hadn't opened fire on a vehicle. I wasn't there. I saw the video. This is what's passing for media coverage. And again, I have to do this because, number one, the Marxist and the communist, the liars who are in my comment section, who are in every comment section on every platform in the world, will lie, flat out lie, about what you're seeing with your own eyes. Second of all, the minute you say anything is wrong with bands of ruffians and thugs stealing, robbing, beating, and murdering, you must automatically be shoved into this box of these pro-fascist, white, separatist, federal government snatching people off the streets, whatever. So I honestly, before this, decried that behavior by federal police who I don't even think should exist. And yet that's what they do. They want to stick you into a box. And the second thing is apparently people who have seen me for 20 years doing this. Yeah, the innocent wheelchair pusher who opened fire with an AK-47. The people that are watching this stuff, don't get on there and go, hey, wait. They don't take on the liars. They just sit back and go, woo, let's see what's going to happen here. Let's talk about masks. Hello, War Dog. Hi, I'm glad to see you. I'm going to find out who this Bobby Ray House is, who I just blocked. If he has any access to any of my Facebook. This tells you exactly what you're talking about when you got hecklers coming in. They don't respect other people's property. They're always, if they haven't pulled you out of your car yet, that's why they're trying to get you to stop. I read the account of another story where a idiot, covetard socialist who was trying to block a woman, her and her friends were trying to block a woman. We were protesting and we were trying to stop her vehicle and she tried to murder us with her vehicle and the cops refused to arrest her. Why is this woman giving an interview? Why is she not in prison? You see, this is why I've been saying for months, you're not going to back out of this. This thing doesn't just go away. People that are like that, who are liars, like the liar who wrote the Aussie article talking about all this guy was doing was trying to push his wheelchair mom or whatever down the street. They don't just stop. They're not just going to stop doing this. I had a great question from Amy on Facebook. Don't you think that when they finally run into force, when they finally get handled, they're just going to fade away? They're doing exactly what is expected of them. They're not the thing. You need to study the Bolsheviks. They use radicalized groups of people, and they do it because they want the reaction. You see the way Ozzy put that article? They said these people were protesting the reaction to the protest. You see how that goes? They're reacting. They want you to react. Not the people on the streets, the idiots who think, I don't know, they actually think they have virtue. Those idiots are expendable. They either side wins, they get wiped out. They are stupid little people who are educated by the public school system who will be wiped out by whoever wins, even if their own side wins. The people who are running things want federal police pulling people into vans. Go study the Bolsheviks. Go study the Sandinistas. Go study the Khmer Rouge. They want the most violent, overwhelming overreach by government that they can prod to happen. The way this thing ends, I know, Danielle, I'm with you. The way this thing ends properly is we reassert the constitutional right to defend your life, liberty, and property using lethal force if necessary. The people have to end it. The people have to. The government doing it is not going to do anything but exacerbate the problem. I didn't say no police. You missed the beginning of the show. Number one, individuals need to put an end to this. Individuals asserting their constitutional rights to defend their life, liberty, and property. That's the proper solution. Secondarily, it's local. If the local police will not act, sorry, but the people who live in that city, you should be on your own. You put those people in power. It's not the rest of the country's job, and it's not the federal government's job. If you don't put an end to it, maybe we just wall you off and we let you have the fruits of your wisdom. At no point should the federal government be involved with any of this. At no point. That is the worst result, because that is exactly what the people who are financing and pushing this agenda want. That's what they want. They want an overreaction. This is what happened with the Bolsheviks. We have to assert the rights for individuals to utilize whatever means are necessary to defend their life, liberty, and property, according to the Constitution. That's the way this gets solved. And I appreciate the fact that a bunch of people showed up in Weatherford and protected a piece of stone, which I don't care one whit about. Good to see it. But again, what they want is an overreaction from the federal government. What they want is an uprising that spreads because of the fact that people who are reasonable should not want the federal government in unmarked cars pulling people into vehicles, not even announcing who they are and everything. And I understand they're in danger, but they shouldn't be there. That is a Seattle or a Portland problem. If the leaders of those places abandon the citizens of those places and the citizens don't do anything about it, then guess what? Welcome to urbanism. You get what you paid for. You voted for these people, you put them in power, you enabled them, you continued to support them, and guess what? When your place turns into a third world country run by a kingpin who's just murdering people left and right, and he's got armed thugs out there, you could have stopped it. So I apologize if I'm a little irritated. And I know a bunch of you are not the people who I'm yelling at. A bunch of you are right-minded, and you want to see the right things happen. But every part of me wants to turn off all of this technology, sit out here, and protect my chickens from and my eggs from snakes. Jimmy says, as long as 98% of believers send their children to be indoctrinated by the state posing as the issue, we are told. Yeah, true. It's another issue, but it's completely true. The state is not the solution to any problem, or very many problems that I can think of. It bugs me that Biden 110-page document is basically federally funding all aspects of society and power is centralized in D.C. So how do you say, on one hand, no feds on my city, but your party wanted centralized power in D.C.? Pointing out hypocrisy in people that will sit there and tell you that there is no Marxism and there's no riots, it doesn't accomplish anything, Amy. Pointing out that they're hypocrites does not help. They don't care. They don't care if they sit there and tell you. They just displayed on my own wall that they can sit there and look at a bunch of people dressed like the Khmer Rouge, waving communist flags and engaging in word for word communist revolutionary behavior and tactics, and said, these are not communists, these are not Marxists. If they're going to sit there and tell you that you just now looked at a goat and it ain't a goat, it's actually a fairy maid, how can you expect them to do anything else? Because you're on Facebook, Tro. You're only going to see the comments that are coming through, and there's 3 Facebook platforms. So you're only going to see comments from the platform where you are. If you want to see more, go to YouTube. That's where hopefully all of you will start watching this. Yes, you're right, War Dog Hunt. The state isn't the solution. The state is the problem. They are the problem. See, individuals don't want to assert their rights. Individuals don't want to take responsibility for the life, liberty, and property or the protection of others. Individuals want to make sure everybody's either wearing masks or not wearing masks. That's what they want to do. And that's the way it goes. You know, what else are you going to do? All right, if you guys got comments or questions or anything you want to talk about, I'm here for you. I'll be glad to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, because I'm a little perturbed. And I almost quit. I almost quit my job 5 or 6 times over the last 3 days. But I showed up. I showed up to work. The feds could end any protest in minutes. Why do you think they let it go on night after night? They have no business there. Yes. The government is. Hey, I appreciate you guys all being here. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to turn this thing a little bit, maybe a little bit nicer. Maybe a little bit. You guys hit the like button. I prefer if all of you at some point during your sojourn would make your way to YouTube, maybe 10 minutes after this broadcast is over, and hit the like button. Subscribe if you aren't subscribed on YouTube. The reason why is that it's very possible that this whole show is going to go back to either being a podcast that's going to go through a podcast or like Spotify or something, or it's going to go back to YouTube directly. And there are people that are helping me out with this StreamYard so I can broadcast. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep doing it. $50 a month and not enough people are willing to go do likes and shares and subscribes. Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate it. Even when the people are shown, you got people out there going, this is not what's happening. I said, these are Marxists. They say that they're Marxists. Maybe they're confused and they don't realize they're not Marxists. Maybe they're actually capitalists. Maybe that's what's going on. All right, y'all, I'm here for you. What do y'all want to talk about? You want to talk about something else? You want to talk about the snake that was in my chicken yard? You want to talk about anything else? My weekend? I had a pleasant weekend. It's not as pleasant as when my wife's in town, but she's doing necessary, essential work, and so therefore she wasn't here. Those are not the Marxists you're looking for. That's right, Russ. I wish more people would read, would study. They would read Gulag Archipelago by Solzhenitsyn. They would read Lenin and Zurich if you could get it. I wish more people would read. Thank you, Danielle. Would read about the Khmer Rouge in my book, God in the Storm. What's next? What should we be doing? Because in my corner of the world, things are pretty normal. That's right. In your corner of the world, my corner of the world, things seem to be pretty normal. Unhappily, the revolution is on, and it doesn't go back in the box. So there are any number of results to that. We could have a strong armed federal response that most pseudo and false conservatives will applaud, that will violate every norm of constitutional behavior, and that will increase the power of the federal government. And we will have squads of federal police who someday soon will be under the control of the other party. That's what people are too stupid to understand. And so that could happen. We could have a overall civil war accompanied but possibly by a foreign invasion. There's any number of things. All right, Tro, good evening. Thank you for stopping by. Everybody hit the like button. Make your way over to YouTube at some point. Subscribe, share, go through any number of my videos on YouTube and share them. The best thing you can do right now after this episode is over is go to YouTube and put a comment. Best way to financially contribute. Thank you, Chuck. I didn't see that earlier. Facebook is the best way. Facebook private messenger, because there's no fees either direction and the money's available immediately. The other way is to go to my website, michaelbunker.com. Up in the right-hand corner, you'll see a button about partnering and subscribing. Click on that. You can do a monthly subscription or you can do an immediate payment, whatever you want to do. Those funds are just delayed. You can also, right now, if you're on YouTube, you can scroll down right below the comment section. There's a little $sign, and you can click on that, and that's called a super chat. And you can do a super chat donation. The absolute best way is Facebook Messenger. Make sure you're following me on Facebook. Make sure that you are my friend. And then you can send me a private message, and they allow you to send money through Facebook Private Messenger, and that money is immediately available and no fees in any direction. So Facebook and YouTube don't get rich off of your largesse. All right. Yeah, it is time to buckle up. There's any number of things can happen, but I can tell you that the revolution is underway. Read Solzhenitsyn's August 1917. Yes, plant some stuff. Get some stuff in the ground. Just continue. Amy, I know you're doing preps. Keep doing them. Keep your eyes open. Make sure we just don't want the wrong things. Too many of us, because we want to see evil receive its comeuppance, we applaud the wrong things. So some idiot, and I wish I knew what platform he was coming through, is continuing to try to troll, but I don't let him do it. All right, y'all. I'm waiting for your comments and your questions. Just come on into the comments section, type in your questions and comments. I'll be glad to talk to you about whatever you want to talk about. But if you don't, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night because it's hot and it's humid. Just embarrassing how stupid these Marxists are. All right, y'all. Don't see anything coming in. I'm waiting on you. I'm here for you. I'm at my position. I'm at my assigned post. I did not quit. What does a civil war even look like now? Well, it doesn't look like a whole bunch of people in uniforms lined up across the field. It'll be much, much, much worse. So I hope you guys are seeing the invasion of the covetards in the comment section on Facebook. The car is running. It's a beater, and the muffler is falling off, and it's running poorly, and it can't go anywhere very far. I'm not quitting yet, Russ. I'm going to stick with it for a while, but I just want us all to be on the same team, is what I'm saying. I feel like sometimes I'm pulled into this stuff, and I don't want to be. Yeah, we didn't get really any rain, anything measurable. We did last week. We got an 1.5 inches last week. City versus rural, absolutely. Red versus blue, unhappily. Definitely going to be that sort of thing going on. But city versus rural, I would say, is your main division. Hopefully, that can be averted. I don't want to see violence. I'm nonviolent. And so, all right, y'all. I appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, God bless you all. I love you. Hope to see you again here tomorrow night or maybe the next night. If you guys can help out, do so. If not, Lord willing, I'll see you soon.